the Schwend gun collection. A history shrouded in mystery. Imagine stepping into the unknown at the age of 11. This is what Henry Harrison Schwend, born in 1865, experienced when his family moved to the Texas frontier in 1876. At that time, Cambridge and neighboring Henrietta were simply dusty outposts where buffalo still roamed the nearby plains, Indians attacked settlements, and desperados robbed trains and banks. It was a dangerous yet exciting time to be alive. In the early 1890s, Harrison began his law enforcement career just after losing his wife and infant child to tuberculosis. He started out as a night watchman in Henrietta, which set the stage for a distinguished life of service that would span more than 30 years. He served in various positions, including constable, city marshal, deputy sheriff, penitentiary agent, policeman, and court bailiff. Soon after Harrison began his law enforcement duties, he started collecting firearms. In addition to the ones he secured during arrests, many guns were given to him by other peace officers, outlaws, and friends who knew of his fondness for them. These acquaintances included the likes of Texas Ranger Captain Bill McDonald, Bill Tillman, Chris Madsen, Quanah Parker, Pancho Villa, Pat Garrett, Bat Masterson, and Frank James. By the time Harrison died in 1924, he had amassed a collection of over 150 weapons and artifacts. There were handguns, rifles, and an impressive array of other unique pieces of history. Knives, daggers, swords, hanging ropes, wrist, neck, and ankle chains all became parts of his extensive collection. His younger brother, the town jeweler and optometrist, Burton Prather Schwend, born in 1880, inherited the collection and added more than 150 additional weapons and artifacts. 3 years after his death in 1947, Burton's widow hauled the entire collection down to a Wichita Falls pawn shop. Over 300 of the finest weapons ever manufactured, many of which were owned by the most notable Old West figures that ever lived, were sold for a paltry $3,000. That is about $39,000 today. Thus, a collection treasured by two brothers passed from the Schwend family, ending a 60-year legacy. King of the Cowboys, Roy Rogers, came close to purchasing the collection for his Hollywood Museum in 1957, but a few Texas businessmen stepped up to keep the collection in its home state. The legendary Schwend gun collection inspired the creation of the Southwestern Historical Wax Museum in Grand Prairie, Texas. The Wax Museum's mission was to take visitors back in time to stand face-to-face with Old West outlaws and lawmen who once owned guns in the collection. Tragically, in September of 1988, just over a year after the unsolved murder of one of the Wax Museum owners, a suspicious fire broke out fueled by 150 wax figures. The museum was a total loss, as were nearly all its contents, or so it was thought. After the disastrous and mysterious fire of 1988, the remnants of the collection sat in the ashes and water for 6 weeks while the insurance company finalized its settlement. Those parts and pieces that could be located were sold off at auctions during the years 1989 and 1990. It wasn't until late 1990 that Selby Schwend and his father, Fred S. Schwend, became aware items from the collection had survived. Since that time, the family has been actively searching for the lost pieces of the original collection. Using existing family records and documents, and with the help of the late Ray Reinhardt, who maintained the museum collection, the Schwend gun collection is again a reality. The process of reacquiring the artifacts has been painstaking and costly. A few of the more famous guns and remnants which have been reunited include those once owned by notorious outlaws Frank James, Jesse James, Henry Starr, Frank Jackson, Bill Doolin, and Cole Younger. By lawmen Bill Tillman, Bat Masterson, Texas Ranger Captain Bill McDonald, and Texas Ranger Sergeant J.M. Britton. By Wild West entertainer Buffalo Bill Cody, as well as sports promoter Tex Rickard, Texas settler Joshua Parker, French general, Montcalm, and Alamo fighter James B. Bonham. Provenance on the original gun owners is supported by family records and photos, historical news articles, museum inventory lists, insurance documents, affidavits from museum personnel, and the quite solid reputation of its founders, Henry Harrison Schwend and Burton Prather Schwend. To date, the Schwend family has recovered more than 100 of the original 300 weapons. It is their hope that these Old West relics can tell a story of a time when our nation was young, unexplored, and untamed. You are invited to step back in time and explore the history and mystery of the Schwend gun collection.